and also the symbol of democracy, philosophy, and art, not only for Greeks, but for the whole world. A true instance where the personal becomes universal. The connecting elements that allow the symbolism of a monument to become universal and to share its truth to the world are many, but the strongest of all, I believe, is the incorporeal, yet most profound, light. It is worth mentioning here that all religions and civilization on earth have a god or a deity dedicated to light, whether it is the sun or the moon. We mentioned before that Apollo is the Greek god of light. Also, god Ra, the Egyptian god of the moon day sun. Arjuna, if I pronounce it well, it's a Hindu god of the morning sun, while Aurora, the goddess of dawn for Romans. Alanaus, the Celtic god of the sun and healing, while Inti, the god of sun for the Incas. Guarachi, a Brazilian sun god, and Malakbel, the god of sun in the Arabian mythology, just to mention a few. Worshipping of light was universal and existed in all civilization. Also in philosophy, the arts, literature, poetry, light is and has been a universal language that connects us all. The Greek philosopher Socrates talked about the light as the child of goodness, proposing that as the sunlight illuminates and gives the eye the ability to see, so the ideal of goodness illumines the intelligible with truth. Socrates values light equally as goodness, giving it a spiritual character. Plato, on the other hand, believed that the eyes project rays of light illuminating everything in front of them. When something blocked these eyes, the result was darkness. Besides his physical interpretation of light and seeing in his allegory of the cave, Plato represents light with truth, and he believed that education is a prerequisite to see truth. Philosophers and non-philosophers, we all have our personal theory of light within many common and general beliefs. Light is the source of life on earth. It is the way to see and be seen. Light is a tool and a way of expression in architecture, in the arts, in physics, in medicine. Light is the candle of our prayer, the fire that warms us up, the firefly at the fields, the moonlit way on the sea, the sun ray that sneaks in a dark cave through a small crack. Light is the sunset on Mykonos, the sunrise at Machu Picchu, the noon sun over the desert. It's the silver, shiny skin on Burj Al Khalifa. Light is the sparkle on the eyes of our beloved ones, the aura of the saint, the rainbow after the rain, the reflections of the white marble. Light is the fiery breath of a volcano, the aurora borealis of North Pole. Light has a dual personality. It is wave and particle. It is both an electromagnetic wave and a photon. It is white and at the same time is all the colors of the spectrum. It is visible and invisible. We humans, we are made also of light. A tiny small portion, as Alexander Pope measured it, so tiny as a candle seen from 20 kilometers, he measured it. Light can be measured, but it is also unmeasurable. Light is an idea, a sensation, a thought, a feeling. Light is a way of seeing not only the obvious, but also the precious and hidden. Light is, paraphrasing Plato, the shadow of God. Everybody, I believe, can give their own interpretation on this. Everybody has a personal understanding on this. But don't we all agree that light connects us through a non-verbal communication, through a transparent connection and understanding of our common and universal values that we all share and agree upon? During the lighting process of the Acropolis, we could not but consider all these interpretations, theories, and mostly the connection of light with truth. All these philosophical thoughts about light, we had to apply on it, on the monument, using artificial lighting, using fixtures. From the very beginning, we knew that this was not a job, it was a journey. A personal growth journey that more than anything else made us dive into our ancestors' history and civilization and regenerate our connection with them. Our intention was not to just arrange the proper lighting fixtures on the right positions, but to dust away the memories, to clear the glasses through which we see the monument, to highlight its whiteness as spiritual purity, as historical truth, as a masterpiece of architecture and art, as the symbol of an era that was called Golden Age. Instead of imposing our dry technical knowledge of lighting design, we paused and listened to the monument's needs. Because the monument did whisper to us its needs. We felt that we should become tabula rasa and almost forget what we knew in order to draw out new routes on our arts and sciences map. We did study the materiality of the sculptures, the temples, their form and structure, together with the history of that era, in order to highlight the monument with the aesthetics that it deserves. The narrative of the Acropolis didn't change because of the lighting. For centuries, it narrates the history of the Greek civilization, its trajectory and dynamic, the power of spirit and the greatness of art. For centuries, standing alone, it reminds us if we are willing to remember. It awakens us if we are willing to be awakened. It teaches us if we are willing to learn and grow. The new lighting didn't change the narrative of the Acropolis, but it empowered its voice. It made it more loud. It strengthened the bridge that links the significant power of our ancient civilization with our present, and it broadcast its message to the future. All monuments, ancient or contemporary, religious centers or important architectural buildings speak their story, speak out their truth of the era they were created. An arch, a temple, a museum or a bridge, a grand hotel or a national airport, all of them are interesting and important as beacons of the past, present, and future. Anyway, that today's buildings or monuments will be ancient in few centuries from now. So in the history of humankind, these sparks of civilization, of human creation in every part of the world, all of them say a story to the present and to our successors. Whether we illuminate them with artificial light to be seen at night, or we just let them unlit to be bathed only by the sunlight, the monuments do whisper their story. It is up to us to pause and listen. The lighting designers will have a great responsibility to the buildings and monuments if we are called to create their lighting. Their night dress, I should say, this transparent garment that appears after sunset in a way, and in a way it wants to beacon the minderers of the night to pay attention to them. Whether they stop to observe and admire it, or only give an unconscious glimpse, this interaction with a monument leaves to people a slight sensation, like a scent, a fine touch, or a feeling. Respecting also the dark sky issue, a lighting designer has to create an elegant design, appropriate to the monument, to the building and its surroundings, having in mind the principles of measure and moderation, the virtue of modesty and self-discipline, of staying firm in one's vision aesthetics. A lighting designer presents and underlines the night personality of a building. Light bridges the past with the future by allowing the sensation to travel downstream. The history of artificial lighting, and I'm not taking much longer, goes back to time. The torch lights of the antiquity have been replaced by gas lighting, then by electrical lamps and spotlights. Even later, the artificial lighting became from static to color changing and moving, and very soon after it was empowered by LEDs and laser beams, and reaching the present, artificial lighting travels with drones and gigantic projections as if, actually, to send a message, to impress, to beautify, to create awe or simple joy. The technological evolution of the science, of the light science, thrives in our days, and it seems that desperately wants to reach even higher the sky, to go further, more and beyond. But is it that by this great enthusiasm that we are forgetting something behind? The profound and simple truth that the inner light is the most important? Our inner light. It is the one that is the same no matter the technological evolution, the one that whispers through the centuries from the hearts of our ancestors to our hearts and to our children's. On September 2020, the new lighting of the Acropolis was on. We wished that this lighting, or through the lighting, that the beauty and wisdom of the past to stream down to our present and to our future. I would like to share with you before closing this short video that was made by the Onassis Foundation about the launch event of the Acropolis and its 17 monuments. So, can we please show the short video? just closing, I would like to say that if we really envision a brighter future, let's search for the flame we all have inside us, and let's not allow anything to burn it out. Thank you.